Hey, Omid here from Mobility Engineering. We've got another how-to video for you, and the solution we're going to be talking about is the Vigal eSlider. So this is a bit of a game changer where the eSlider is an internal transfer seat system. So primarily designed or solution focus based for those that are in a wheelchair and they do an internal transfer from wheelchair to vehicle seat in a sort of people mover van type of a car. I mean, in Australia, we're typically fitting these solutions in, Hyundai Starias, VW Multivans, Ford Transit Customs, those type of cars, right? They're vans, not the big vans, but kind of, the low roof vans. And why you have a vehicle solution system like a eSlider is that the person that's seated in the wheelchair does not want to drive from their wheelchair because maybe the wheelchair is not suitable for vehicle transport, or even just the ride and comfort of a vehicle seat is much better. So if you've got the capacity and ability to transfer to that vehicle seat, that is always the preferred thing. Now, why the eSlider is a bit of a game changer is most internal transfer seat systems are six-way, right? We commonly call them as six-way transfer systems, whereas this is actually an eight-way transfer. So you've got forward and back, you've got rotation, around, you've got up and down in the height. So there you're six, right? So two for each of those direction changes, whereas the additional two, so that eight-way function, is your tilting. So this seat will either tilt back or tilt forward, where for someone that is, let's say lower limb, does not have the feeling and sensation and needed to transfer in and out, when you have that tilting down motion, allows you to slide out of the seat, and then in reverse, when you've got it tilted up, when you're transferring from your wheelchair into the vehicle seat, it just makes that a little bit easier. Now, as you can see in our assessment vehicle here, we have the eSlider fitted with the Recaro seat, and we have other low profile seats which work very well with this sort of system because we're putting something that changes in height. So you want a low profile seat, so when then you are perched up in front of the vehicle they're driving, you want that clearance underneath the steering wheel for your lower limbs. So if you have a brake lever or something like that, you have the clearance, or even a cushion underneath that can then raise you up higher. Any millimeter we can shave from this seated height is going to be to benefit. In some states and territories, you may put the original seat in there. However, that sometimes can reduce a little bit of that capacity of lifting, all right? But yeah, so here you have your function control unit. So the front one here, you've got markers on the top there, so it shows you going back and forward. This one as well, it shows you it does the rotation. The third one here is your up and down. And then also I will put it in the front position so you can see. So then here we have the tilt. So you can see I'm tilting it back. And then in reverse. But what makes this cool is not that eighth function actually, is the memory function. So when you're trying to use these solutions, you're flicking between 3 or 4 different switches, you can often be like, oh, I just pressed the wrong one, right? Because you don't want to be looking down, you just want to be second nature doing this. The front button is M for memory. So you can set that sequence that you need to get to your chair and the likes to get back to the front to suit you. So you just simply press that one memory function button and it does the operation for you. Right, so you don't have to worry about flicking between the different switches, which for some solutions that can be a little frustrating. So a really great nifty solution where you have the memory function and then you have that additional tilt function as well to give you the 8 in total. Now what I'm going to do is just going to quickly get it in position here to kind of show you, somewhat of a sequence. Now, by all means, I'm not someone that is a wheelchair user, so for me, my transfer may be slightly different to someone else that does have lower leg impairment. So don't don't judge. But you know, I can kind of give you a bit of a gist of how this system can work, right? So you would typically, you know, have your wheelchair docked with some sort of a docking system, or you know, strapped in, so then it stays in position, and then you get your seat to where you need it to transfer to. So you know, we can have it tilted a little bit to kind of give a better that idea, and then we, you know, may want to get, you know, our legs off the footrest, so then that way when we are doing the transfer, we don't get it jammed up and cause a bit of a hindrance. So then, you know, you would then lever yourself, may have to lean a bit forward and then sort of push and get yourself onto the seat, all right? And then get yourself in position. And what you want to do is then rotate to the front. And then get yourself forward. So now I'm in the forward position of the front passenger seating position of this car, but you know, this solution works for the driver seated position as well. You don't see the control units here because it's fitted on the right hand side. However, pending what position of the car you're sitting on, passenger, driver's side, that can be adjusted, or even your personal preference. It can be mounted in a location that's going to best suit your needs, right? Now you would have seen in the previous shot when I was sort of positioning the chair in that forward position, the base of the unit does not have any rails or tracks, so it is a trackless solution, so it just sort of is nice and compact within the unit as well. So when it's in that forward position, you do get a little bit of floor space, as they say. However, though, you know, the floor space, when you're transferring out, you kind of need that space to, you know, free to transfer to the chair. So it's kind of a bit of a catch-22 there. But in terms of access, it allows you to safely transfer within the vehicle away from the elements, so then that way you can be comfortably seated in that front position and able to control the systems like your infotainment and even the steering wheel of the car. This solution is available to trial, so feel free to reach out to us at Mobility Engineering and we can talk more about what your solution needs are and then how we can make that trial and drive a possibility. Catch you on the next one.